Bosses start somewhere. Hey y'all, thanks for tuning in to the 6th episode of Bosses Start Somewhere, hosted by your girl, Riley Brooks Stith. And I honestly can't believe we're in our 6th episode. It just feels like time flies. But I have some incredible interviews lined up for the remainder of this year. Stay tuned. We have boss moves coming up next. It's your girl, Riley Brooks Stith. Stay bossy. Bosses start somewhere. Hey y'all, welcome to Boss Moves. Of course, I'm on money.cnn.com. And as I'm scrolling, I came across a story about the Aetna CEO. I'm not sure if you guys remember, but I posted on our blog, bsswblog.wordpress.com, about how CVS made more than a $66 billion bid for Aetna. Well, the CEO could potentially walk away with $500 million in cash after that CVS deal. According to money.cnn.com, Aetna CEO Mark Bertolini will lose his job if the deal to sell the company to CVS closes. But he'll leave the company with about $500 million in stock and cash to soften the blow. What do we think, guys? Is that a boss move? Email me at bossesstartsomewhere@gmail.com and let me know what you think. Stay tuned for an exciting interview ahead. It's your girl, Riley Brooks Stith. Stay bossy. Bosses start somewhere. Hey y'all, welcome back to Bosses Start Somewhere. It's your girl Riley Brooks Stith. And if y'all know me, y'all know this is my favorite part of the show. So let's get into it. I know you've seen this actor on Insecure, Casey Undercover, Lethal Weapon, The Fosters, and more. He's got a secret project on the way. And as of now, he's currently starring as Cordell in Netflix's Dear White People. I am so incredibly excited to have this stud on the show. So please help me welcome Brandon Black.
Hey,
thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I love the title of this. I couldn't say no to that.
I appreciate it, man. First of all, before we get into it, how are things? How's life?
Man, life is pretty good. I got a coffee in my hand right now.
Hey.
And, I got a little bit of sage burning because, I'm like, okay, we're going to get real today.
You already know.
So yeah, life is great. Dear White People season 2 starts. We just started. So it's like back to school season,
Wow. Yeah. So let's just jump right on in, Brandon. Where did it all begin for you? I don't know your story. And just so you know, Bosses Start Somewhere is a place where I really wanted to create a platform for inspiring creatives to share their real and honest experiences about where it all began for them. And I thought, I love Brandon's work, but what's his story? So where did it begin for you?
Good question. So, I'm from San Diego and,
Dope.
and I'm an only child. And I was first represented in San Diego when I was 14.
Okay.
So that's kind of where it started. And, I don't know if you remember that show, Veronica Mars.
Oh my God, yes.
That was the only show shooting and casting in San Diego. So,
wow.
Didn't get on there.
All good.
But, it was something to shoot for. I kind of started off calling myself a model. I think acting was really scary. Still is.
Yeah. Come on.
But now I kind of love the fear. But so it started with me calling myself a model and slowly realizing I wasn't tall enough to be a model, a fashion model anyway. Again, there's really not much of that going on in San Diego except for stock photography. And I slowly but surely built up enough balls to start calling myself an actor/model.
Wow.
Until I finally dropped the model altogether. And, along with that, obviously, is a ton of internal commitment. And, every day, as you know, we're continually realizing more ways we have to bear down and say, okay, all right, I'm doing this, every single day.
Yeah.
So it kind of started with me just shyly getting in, and now I'm balls deep.
That's so crazy. Wait, so were you in class?
Yeah, good question. Yep, I was maybe some of the people listening have been through or currently in these kinds of classes where especially in small towns, it's I found you at the mall and come, you got potential. Come take this expensive class where we have an agency and a photographer attached already. go through our entire program, and then we'll sign you, and then you won't get any work. So I did that twice at different places in San Diego. I won't even give you the names because I ain't trying to give them no business.
Listen, I probably know them. I was going to shout them out, and I was like, wait, don't.
Don't even. Because they're quick to, these are the people who claim that, Cindy Crawford and Tyra Banks, all these people came through there, right? And it's just whatever. So I did that twice in San Diego, and then I moved to LA when I was 18 because I knew what I wanted to do already, which is a gift. A lot of people still don't know what they want to do in life, and we're fortunate that we already have a path, and or making our own path, because there's certainly no given path in acting.
Right. No formula.
At all.
No formula.
Yeah, no formula at all. I keep trying to find one, and I keep not finding it.
Listen, let me know when you do.
Right, seriously. And then so when I moved here, I was working at Bank of America because for some reason I thought that you could work at a bank and become an actor at the same time. I was like, I don't know why all these actors are waiters. I'm never going to become a waiter. Like, I'm going to have a 401k set to the side, and, I'll go to my auditions. So fast forward like 2 months into me being in LA, and now I quit the bank job, and I'm started that line of shitty jobs of, trying to survive out here. Yeah. Delivering groceries. And then, of course, I did end up waiting tables and so on. And it was a humbling experience to realize my 401k ain't gonna do nothing out here.
So when you moved to LA at 18, did you have representation at the time?
I had representation in Orange County.
Okay.
This was my first they are a legit agency, but it's mostly, they're in Orange County, so you kind of already know. Okay. Like, this isn't, I'm not going to get any like TV film auditions out of here. Right. But I didn't know that at the time. So I moved here like I have an agent in LA. I called my agents, gave them my new address, said I am now available for all Los Angeles auditions. And of course, like nothing really happened. Wow. So I guess you could say, to answer your question, yes, I was represented, but like I'm doing air quotes right now. You just can't see it.
The first job you booked then, was that on your own?
My first job that I booked when I was in LA was a print modeling job for Xbox, and I never saw the pictures.
Wow.
Yeah, like the first couple of things I booked here, I never saw the results of, which were print jobs. My first actual, like, an agent or manager submitted me and I auditioned and booked was The Fosters. Wow. Yeah, I was a hiker number, or not even hiker number one, because there's only one of us. So I was just hiker. And but I was obviously really excited. This is on ABC Family, which is what it was called at the time. And I knew that the Fosters had Jennifer Lopez as a executive producer, right. And then ironically enough, like, it's based in San Diego. So I was like, oh, all the stars are aligning.
The universe is conspiring. Yeah.
The universe is conspiring for me to be hiker.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing, is you have to be excited about every role. 'Cause I think some people will try and be like, oh, well, you were just a hiker. But it was like, this is my first real job, man. Like,
but literally, bosses start somewhere, Literally, you have to start somewhere. You know what I mean? So being a hiker on ABC it doesn't even matter. I mean, the magnitude just to get in that room. And why don't we go into that for some of the listeners, some of the people that are, aspiring actors or writers, whatever. I mean, what was the process of going in for a hiker role?
I went into that audition. This was for Scott Ginkinger. Okay. And I remember I knew I booked the part as soon as I did it, because other people were like in like jeans and t-shirts and like or like some people were in like nice clothes because it was probably their first audition and they just wanted to look very presentable. But you're playing a hiker, you know, like you're on a trail. And so the first thing is like I made sure to like dress, similar to what I would be doing in the show. And I remember it was the first time I didn't tell myself that this didn't matter, because, it was just a hiker, right? And, it doesn't matter. But I really tried to like pretend like I was on a hike, like, like what happens? It's hot out. you know, like maybe you're a little out of breath, you know, you try to create the environment a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was the first time that I committed to doing that, because it kind of can feel like stupid. You're in somebody's office, you know, you're not on a trail, and it's air conditioned in there. It's not hot. You're not out of breath, and you're not on a
right.
You know, and you have to, and it was the first time I took the leap of faith and really just was like, you know what, let me just really try and just like pretend like I'm hiking right now. And I fucking booked it.
Wow. And that's what's so dope, because a lot of people don't understand the amount of play that really has to go into these auditions. It's like, you really can't take yourself seriously.
Yeah, and you can't. And it's, you know, that's something that I'm continually working on getting better at, is just letting go and not watching yourself and really doing it. I mean, that is I guess once you really realize that is your job, is to pretend your ass off, you know, and but believe it. Pretend like a little kid pretends. You tell them to be a firefighter, and then their face changes, and they, you know, I'll save you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's what we have to do. It's the same thing. You know, we have to take it that serious. My mom wanted to be a TV anchor, like a news anchor, until she got pregnant with me, and then she switched her whole game up and got a government job to take care of me.
Wow.
Which is awesome, because that allowed me to actually pursue acting. You know, she was able to take me to, you know, get headshots and take me through all those scammy places that charged her thousands of dollars and stuff like that, you know, because it was the only thing. I was going through, like, you know, those real shitty teenage years where you hate everything and everyone, and all you care about is your friends, you know, like, I was like way on that. You know, I was listening to Eminem, and I was listening to like Taking Back Sunday. So it was like, you weren't catching me. I was through, you know? And then the only thing that got me was acting. And it was because I was so terrified of it. And it was just something I really just wanted to just make a promise to myself that I would never, ever stop doing it, even though it scares me so much. But it was really hard to move here. And, you know, everyone tells you it's who you know. And, and, you know, oh, well, I knew this guy, and then, you know, all that stuff. And when you just move here, even though San Diego's not far away, it really is a different situation here. And when everyone's telling you, when you ask people, oh, you know, where'd you get your start or whatever, and everyone says that, it feels like you're just never going to make it in here, you know, like it's like this club that you're never going to get into. Very true. I mean, LA is a scary place. It's like it's Hollywood. I remember moving here and I saw the Hollywood sign, and I'm like, and I'm from New York, VA originally, but, you know, being a New Yorker, lived there for 10 years, you know, college, high school, everything. And I come to LA and I'm like, oh my gosh, like Hollywood, like this is it. Yeah. And, you know, in San Diego, people think such shitty things of LA. Right. So when I was leaving to come to LA, everyone was kind of like, oh, why are you going to do that? Oh, you know what I mean? So you have all those people in your head, and then you get here, and then it's lonely and expensive, and you know, you have to pay to park at the beach here. I know. That tripped me out. I'm like, wait, New York is so expensive, but that is so weird to me. Yeah. Like this is just the beach. This is just the end of the land. Like, why do I have to pay for this? You know, this is already here. Right. There's hard things to adjust to. But I will say, even though I didn't have anyone here to help me, like, point me in a direction, having parents that supported me doing this versus other actors that I met who literally lied to their parents and they think they're in law school or something like that. Right. Yeah. I know that I'm fortunate. I know that that's still a leg up, even though I didn't have anyone here to say, hey, take this class or go to this place or, you know, whatever, you know. You know, I feel the same way, and you're just making me want to shout out my mom and dad. So, Mom and Dad, thank you for all of the support, because Brandon is 100% right now. I mean, that family support really makes a drastic difference, I feel. But obviously, for those who don't have it, you can still make it, you know? Yeah. But it is a blessing, and it's a perk. And so you're a recurring character on Dear White People? Yeah, so Dear White People was my first recurring role. Recurring, ever. Got it. Yeah, and it was, you know, so Dear White People, I auditioned for a bunch of other parts on that show too. Some, you know, one was a series regular role, and then a bunch of other parts after that. Right. So I had a good inkling that I was gonna end up on the show because I was coming back for so many auditions. But it was still like an upgrade for me. So kind of like when you when you're leveling up, sometimes it doesn't feel like it's going to happen because it's that thing that you put in your head that's so far away that you're trying to reach to.
Listen.
So to like, and when I booked it, it was one episode possibly recurring.
Wow.
And then that turned into, now I'm in the second season of the show.
So what was that like? I mean, when you sign on to the second season, are you auditioning for the second season, or were you auditioning?
What's beautiful about recurring roles is that they're calling your manager, not your manager calling and begging someone to get you in a room. It's like, you don't audition. It's more work. It's the first time that's happened to me, and it's a really good, affirming feeling to that's that working actor feeling to have someone call you and say, hey, so you booked more episodes of this show, and it's like, oh wow, that's work I don't have to audition again for. That's already mine.
Wow.
That was a moment for sure to go from. Because I will say, just like with that hiker role, with this one especially, I was like, because I read the pilot because I had auditioned for other parts. So I had, normally with small parts, you don't get the whole script.
Right.
But I had auditioned for so many other parts on the show that I had the script. And I just felt like that show, the writer, Justin Simeon, knew me, knew us. And he does. I mean, he is that. He is us. And so when I walked onto set for that one episode, possibly recurring role, I in my head was like, this is recurring. I have to come back. I have to be here again. It was, the cast were all so open and cool. So I didn't feel like I had that imposter syndrome.
Yeah. You felt welcomed.
I felt welcomed, and I felt like, it was a lot of other people's first too, like. The guy who plays Rashid, his name is Jeremy Kenyon. I'm over here trying to act normal, like I've been here before. Denzel told me I gotta act like I've been here before, right? So I'm trying to act like I've been here before. Yeah. And then I see him like slowly pull out his phone and take a picture of his name on the table at the table read. And I was like, is this your first time doing this? And he was like, yeah, man. And I was like, and it just gave me license, like, oh, let me get my phone out and take a picture of this too. It's like, so it's a good thing. I mean, Boss to Start Somewhere is real, because I went from hiker to on a critically acclaimed 100% rated on Rotten Tomatoes show,
Yeah.
And it all came from one episode that might have recurred. And you have to walk into everything like, you can't minimize stuff. That's what this show taught me. It was like, don't minimize your place in the show. Like, even now, I just noticed that I called it a small part, and it's like, you have to really fix your language. There are no small parts. And I know, we've all heard that in acting class before, but really, we all are human beings on that show. Just because we say less words, that doesn't mean we're less of a person. So I tried to walk in there like, I'm in this show, and then, manifested that shit, because then I was.
Wow, Brandon, like, that is so inspiring. There's so many of us out there who, are aspiring actors and people looking to get parts. And some people just don't even have agents. And I tell friends who have agents who are trying to get parts, remember, but there are people who don't have agents. So stay humble. And
there are people who didn't even move here because they were just too scared to actually do it. So even if you just live here and you haven't booked anything, you haven't got an agent, none of that. If you're just here and you're somehow able to pay this rent out here, then you're already like in the game. And I think you have to remember to tell yourself you are in the game, because it will try to make you feel like you're not,
You can say that again. You just gave me and my listeners life in these 20 minutes, because you just dropped so many gems. I mean, I need to hear that. I mean, it's true. There are no small parts, and there's nothing in life I feel that's too small when destiny is calling, So you just kind of have to walk that path. What else do you have coming out? I know, you just signed on to the second season of Dear White People, but got that secret project. And there's so much goodness on the way. Is there anything that we should be looking out for?
Well, speaking of recurring parts, I did just find out that I've got another episode of Casey Undercover coming.
Oh my God, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, so this is, I mean, Casey Undercover is the first time I'm working with someone that is literally a like star.
Right.
Like, I mean, when Insecure was coming out, it hadn't come out yet.
Right.
So, Issa Rae was already popular, but not like she is now, or Yvonne like she is now.
Right.
Yvonne Orji. So this was me working with Zendaya, who literally, when I got to set, Spider-Man came out, and she was literally #1 on IMDb. Like it
the
was
dream, like the dream in a
God.
cup.
Seriously, like so I'm so happy to be back on that. It's going to be the series finale.
Wow.
So I'll be rounding out that. And then, there is a secret project that I cannot talk about yet because the security on that show is
lit.
lit. Like, I'm talking, the only other time I had this much security on anything was I did this Apple commercial. So you will be seeing that probably early next year. See, Netflix will be on their own timetable, so they're not rushing to put. You gonna have to wait. Like HBO, you have to wait.
Right.
So I don't even know when it's coming out, but I'm really excited for that show because Dear White People, I feel pretty proud of like the stuff I've been on so far. And this secret project is right in line with that. This is another show that people were very mad about this show.
Okay.
Just like they were very mad about Dear White People. Mm-hmm. And I love that so much. I love that. You can literally go in the comments of the trailer for Dear White People.
Right. And
in the comments, you can see exactly why a show like Dear White People exists, because you'll see all these angry, misspelled comments, right? And then you'll see all these eloquent, beautiful, thought out responses with source material for you as receipts, like just perfect. And this secret project is just like that, where I think it's talking about really important topics. But because it's talking about these really important topics, it makes people really uncomfortable. And I'm hoping I can continue to be on projects like that,
So how could you inspire an actor who's hustling to follow their dreams, especially in a city like Los Angeles?
Yeah, so there's a reason why Los Angeles is known as a flaky place. And that is because my advice would be to be selfish with your dreams as much as possible. You can never have a ceiling on your commitment, because you're going to understand new levels of required commitment along your path, and you won't at the start know how much you have to commit. So you can't say like, I'll give it 10 years and then, it's really got to just be like, I'm just in this and selfishly so, because that means you're going to miss friends' birthdays. That means you're going to not text people back and so on.
So much sacrifice.
So much sacrifice. And it will make you look like what it is, a selfish person. And I mean, anyone who doesn't understand that that's what it takes for you to get where you have to go, you'll lose those people. And that is actually for the better, because you will also find people who totally get it and who are also doing the same thing. And so stubbornness is going to be your friend in this town when everyone's telling you to give up or whatever. I would prescribe you this medicine. You should put on some Kanye, and specifically you should put on a song called Last Call, and you should listen to the entire song. And by the end of that song, you're going to be recommitted to what you got to do, because he's documenting for you from the very start all the way to when he got signed to Rockefeller. And you're going to have so many Me Too moments in what he's telling you that you'll understand what it takes. And so I literally, that song is on my audition playlist. And when I'm feeling like I'm about to just give up, I put that on and I'm back, because this, as mysterious as what we do seems, it's not. You just got to keep doing it forever until it starts to give back to you.
Totally.
And there's no set amount of time that's going to take. Some people come through immediately, and some people take a long time. George Clooney, he came through way late, but now look at him,
Even Billy Bob Thornton's story is insane.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's another thing is continue to fill yourself with other people's stories of not giving up. There's, listen to this podcast, listen to other episodes of this podcast, listen to Off Camera with Sam Jones podcasts, watch awards, watch the Oscars just to see people win awards and talk about how they got there. Look at Halle Berry up there bawling, crying, saying she's thinking any minute now you're going to find out that she doesn't know what she's doing at all.
I mean, even Emma Stone's speech, it was amazing when she dedicated her award at either the Oscars or the Golden Globes to all the actors auditioning.
Yeah, her speech was amazing.
Yep. And hey.
That stuck with me. Yeah, that stuck with me because I was like, I'm auditioning tomorrow,
Yeah.
And you're gonna have to find as many sources of don't give upness as possible and seek those out. At the start of your career, because bosses start somewhere.
Okay.
Start with just surrounding yourself with a lot of positivity because you're going to be challenged and you're going to have something to fight back, and it's going to only be able to come from you.
I love that because I really feel that every creative person is a seed. And if you fertilize that seed in the wrong soil, it's not going to grow.
Right.
So you're right about a positive environment. My parents always taught me, environment is who you become. Surround yourself with those who are either as smart or smarter than you. But I really want to go back to your point about selfishness because you're 100%. Michael Jordan wrote an amazing quote that I stand by, which is to be successful, you have to be selfish or else you never achieve. And once you get to your highest level, then you have to be unselfish, stay reachable, stay in touch, don't isolate. And I think it really plays in to your point. It's so true. I mean, it's unfortunate that you have to shut so many things out when you're following your dreams or trying to manifest that thing you want to happen. But in the end, it's worth it. And everyone who cares and loves you will understand.
And you'll be a better friend, better boyfriend, better girlfriend, better person if you're fulfilled. Then you'll be overflowing. You'll be ready to help someone else with their dreams or to encourage someone, but if you never went after your dreams, you'll be exactly like everyone telling you not to go after yours. It's the reason why they tell you that is because they identified it as impossible. So now they want to tell you it's impossible too.
Okay. And DJ Khaled told us best. They don't want you to win.
They don't. They don't want you to have a bigger pool than Kanye.
They don't.
But watch me though.
Okay.
and I really, DJ Khaled, he might be a bit of a cartoon, but the keys are real. Like those, that's real.
True. It's so true.
Gratitude and all the stuff that he talks about, like, again, he's pretty cartoony about it, but that's real. I'm saying the same thing. I'm just not, jumping up and down and like wearing 10,000 chains and stuff like that.
Right.
No, same message. Though.
No, it is the same message. And I think a lot of creatives are looking for that inspiration because it's not easy. We all have ups and downs. I go through it on a daily basis. And I think you mentioned a great point about, as an artist, you need to stay fueled, fuel yourself with positivity and inspiring talks and podcasts and movies that inspire you, that keep you creative.
Right. And I think if you remember that this is your life, you'll always be adding fuel because that's your life. Like in my house, I have Michael Jackson pictures, like just like Lil Wayne, like people whose work ethic was insane.
Yeah.
And I also have some of my friends' artwork in here because I just want to be surrounded by good things. And even if I'm not looking at them all the time, they're here. And I mean, everything I do, the energy is there. Everything I do, if I'm going for a hike, I'm on that hike because I'm there to appreciate nature. Marilyn Monroe said that nature resets her. And I think that that's a good thing because you do get caught up in some of the business parts of the art business. And it's a really weird place to be because they negate each other. Art and business negate each other. But if you do want to live as an artist, you will be in the art business.
Ooh, I love it.
Right. So you kind of, you got to get into the earth, get into nature. And like, because then in nature, you'll be able to like hear your natural voice again. Because you'll start to forget why you were doing this because you get too caught up with having enough followers and, you know, whatever else they start sticking on you that, there's always something an actor needs. Oh, you got to be in the union. Oh, you got to have a lot of followers. But, it's just always something new all the time.
Yeah.
And so that's another piece of advice, I guess I would add to that same question is make sure that you find whatever it is for you that brings you back to your actual voice inside, like your intuition. Like we all have it, but it can get bogged down by a bunch of other people's voices. And again, listen to that Kanye when he believes in himself so much that it's too much. Like it's for but think of Kanye as as a concentrate.
Totally.
Like maybe you don't want to be that egomaniac but you got to appreciate that man is determined. And if you can just take a piece of that and you're off to the races,
Oh, yeah. Jay-Z, recently said, I think in the New York Times interview, the only thing that's real is true. I think it was along the lines of that. And I think that really plays into your point. And I think as an artist, you get to a point where you realize you're only fueled by what's true. You can only create what's true. And it's hard when you're commodifying anything to keep it pure, And I think that's the challenge. That's our responsibility as artists is to be able to live and survive off of this thing, but also stay true to why we started it in the first place.
Yeah. And that is a hard balance to strike, and it's one that you'll continue to negotiate, I think, throughout your entire career,
Absolutely.
Maybe on different scales, but it's always going to come back to what artistically makes you excited and what do you want to say, and are you even aware of what that is, or are you too caught in the other aspects that are, it is worth giving thought to. Should I have more followers? Should I this or that? But just don't let that. It's so easy to become an actor robot. I mean, I'm sure not all your listeners are actors, but I mean, in whatever field you're in, it's so easy to just want to do the right thing all the time that
don't
you get
consumed.
Caught.
Yeah, you're don't get consumed by those distractions.
Right. It's poisonous because you're going to be not feeling very good and you're not going to know why. And it's going to just all of a sudden hit you. And you don't want that. I've had that, that's when you start wondering why you have panic attacks and all these crazy things. And it's because you're not letting your emotions tell you what's happening. Yeah. If you're uninspired, you need to look at that.
Right. Don't force it.
Don't force it.
Kamau talked about that actually on my podcast. He mentioned, how as artists, you have to know when to step away and when to sort of not push, but drive yourself to work a little bit harder because maybe there's something there, but you never want to force anything and you never want to give up too soon.
Right.
So I think it is finding that balance once again.
Yeah.
Being an artist is a tricky thing.
It really is. It really, really is. And balance is something that I have always had a hard time with. I'm always black or white, and I, through lots of meditation and therapy and whatever else I could get, self-help books, I've realized that you do need to continue to challenge yourself to find the gray areas because nothing, especially art, is one thing, ever.
And that's what actors also need to remember when they're going into auditions, I think, is it's your interpretation of their writing, So be easy, I mean, we all need coaching. We all, wish we could sit with the director and figure out how to really hone this character and fulfill the vision of the writer. But it's a process, and we have to be patient in that process.
Right. And think of it as a blueprint. Think of it as like a coloring book. And so the script is, all the lines, but you got to add all the color and you get to you could put whatever colors you want in there.
I love
and
that.
maybe they'll look at it and say, that's really nice, but maybe you should add some more blue in there. And you get to say, okay, yeah, I like that idea.
Right.
Or, nah, I really don't feel blue in there.
Or
You
what
know?
shade of blue are we talking?
Right. Yes. Get into the details. Are we talking a royal blue? Because I could see a royal, but I'm
Yeah,
definitely not fucking with a baby blue.
exactly.
So it's intricate, and honestly, casting directors are creative people too, so they want to have that discussion of, yeah, I think it's a royal blue,
They do.
because then we're collaborating, and then you look like a capable artist instead of someone who locked in your performance one way and you have to do it that way, or if they say one thing to change, then you just can't do it. You know what I mean?
I know. I know.
And
And it goes to show how prepared you are. I mean, actually, that's
right,
not true. It goes to show you how present you are.
right,
Because in this
because
space, you need to be able to have the freedom to
right.
change and be
Right,
flexible.
right. And so it's never like just change how you say this word. It's like, okay, if I'm saying it that way, what does that mean?
Right.
That means I must feel this way. And everything can be with a question mark thrown back at the casting director. Oh, so you think it's like royal blue? So that means that it's probably like this? And that's a question. Then they can say, yeah, or no. It's like, the more questions you ask, the better. And I think people are a lot of times scared to ask questions.
Yeah.
And I understand that, but I guarantee you, if you're making this painting together, you're making it together. So you do need to ask some questions. You are the painter, though. Someone's just hiring you to paint. So,
It's true.
since you're the artist, they're the customer. You want to fulfill the customer's wishes, but you're the one holding the paintbrush, and they can just not buy it if they don't like it.
It's so true. And I feel like the term auditioning makes you feel like they're not with you. You're
Right.
sort of, you're asking for validation from them. And
Right.
I think it makes us actors forget that casting directors are rooting for us. Like they want
Yeah.
us to win.
Yeah, they want to look good. So if they say, man, I got this girl Riley, like she did something completely different, I can't wait for you to see it, they're going to want that more than, all these people are fine, and just kind of like pick one. They want to be
Yeah.
excited about it.
They do.
And the more you can remember that they're people who are collaborating in this process too, the better. And I probably need to listen to this podcast, this episode, my damn self.
Me too.
Because I still, other things creep in, fear, money, whatever, that will knock you off of this path. But that's okay too. Like, we're all human. Me saying this, I will have to take my own medicine as well.
Absolutely.
Again and again. It's not like, oh, cool, I know everything and here we go. It's always going to be like, let me check back in and, remember that everything I'm saying to you right now is what I have to remind myself of, because I'll get lost. It's a discipline to stay on your path, and it's very tough.
It is. But I think the first step to any healing in that regard is knowing. At least you
Right.
know why you're doing this, and you have a purpose, and no one expects you to feel that it's going to be easy or hard. It's hard for any entrepreneur. And I love the quote, every boss started as a worker, because it's true. You know what I mean? A friend of mine sent me 5 pictures, and I think it was like Amazon, Google. It was like all of these conglomerates started in like garages or like the backyard. And we have to remind ourselves they didn't start where they are today. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Right.
we all really do start somewhere, and we have to, as I said, be patient in the process and don't rush anything, because everything comes in time.
Right. Everything. And you just got to again, like I said at the beginning, not have a ceiling on when this is over for you, because you don't know how long this is going to take. And even when you get where you thought you were going to need to get to feel happy, there's going to be something else.
Okay.
Okay. You're going to win an Oscar, and then you're going to be like, well, now I can only win Oscars, or I fell off.
Exactly.
Right.
That's why people say you have to be ready for this game. You have to be ready for success.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to be like, when I was a kid, I wanted to be like a famous kid actor, and I'm so glad that didn't happen, because I would have definitely been one of those ones out here in and out of rehab, because I am just now starting to be able to tame this this thing, like
Mm,
of mine, this ego or whatever it is
absolutely.
that runs me and runs a lot of people. I'm just now getting any sort of handle on it. And so, and what you said earlier about like you just have to know your purpose, and you also have to be able to recognize if you don't know,
Absolutely.
because then you ask the questions and find out. Don't fake it till you make it is kind of whack,
It is whack.
Yeah, because if you're a real person, then anything fake is gonna be not sitting right in your body, and you're gonna know, and it's gonna make you stiff. And I tried fake it till you make it and was just out here really fake,
I agree with you because I think regardless of what you're doing, you should always be the real deal. And
Right.
it doesn't matter if you're driving a Benz, if you got 50,000 in your bank account right now. If you don't have any of that, it doesn't matter. All that matters is that you have a purpose, because everything does come in time,
Right. And we are well on that path. And I hope someone else listening to this is motivated to either stay on it or get on it or something, because, you're not doing anything if you're not happy with what you're doing.
It's true.
True.
And I also, going off of that, think you're not doing anything if you're not giving back in some sort of way.
Right. And that's been a challenge for me too, because, financially, it's like, yeah, I'm still very much in the startup phase of my business. So financially, there's no giving back right now. Like, y'all can go ahead and give
Right.
to me at this exact time.
Right.
But you can find yourself some responsibility as an artist to give back in sense of what story am I telling, and how do I make that important enough to me so that someone else, when they watch this, they see themselves, because I think that's that you listen to a song and you connect to those lyrics, you feel better, or maybe you feel sadder, but it's because you realize things about yourself.
Totally.
Empathy is a the main thing I think an actor has to have. And so if someone is able to empathize with your character, that's huge. In that way, you did give back. And then, you might be like, yeah, man, like I saw your, you on this show, you were so me. And, I saw, whatever, like that's the biggest compliment possible. And then, later in life, hopefully I'll be able to give back in bigger ways. I would love to be a Brad Pitt, who's just out here, making every gay movie, adopting every baby,
Yeah.
like saving, Leonardo DiCaprio, like just out here, saving the whole planet. Like those are the long-term goals
Totally.
of mine. And, I have to just remember that I'm starting here, but bosses start somewhere.
Wow. That's powerful. Brandon, it's been such a pleasure having you on the show. You've dropped some major gems. Can you give us your social media?
Absolutely. Yeah. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Brandon_F_Black. And you can follow me on Snapchat at Brandon F. Black altogether. And Facebook would be facebook.com/Brandon Black Actor. Please hit me up.
Well, Brandon, it has been a pleasure.
Likewise. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And once again, thanks for joining us on Bosses Start Somewhere. It's your girl, Riley Brickstith. Stay bossy.